It was a sweltering afternoon in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on July 11, 1991. Nigeria Airways Flight 2120, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10, was preparing for a routine flight to Sokoto, Nigeria. On board were 247 passengers and 14 crew members, many of them pilgrims heading home after performing the Hajj. The takeoff seemed ordinary, with no indication of the horror that was about to unfold. As the DC-10 climbed, subtle signs of trouble began to emerge. The flight crew noticed unusual vibrations and heard unfamiliar noises. A strange smell, faintly acrid, seeped into the cockpit. These seemingly minor issues, easily dismissed under normal circumstances, would soon escalate into a terrifying emergency. Unbeknownst to those on board, the issues were far from minor. Deep within the belly of the aircraft, a catastrophic failure was developing. An underinflated tire, neglected during a pre-flight check, had blown out during takeoff. This seemingly insignificant oversight would set off a deadly chain reaction. The burst tire had ripped through crucial hydraulic lines and a fuel tank. Hydraulic fluid, the lifeblood of an aircraft's control systems, began to leak profusely. At the same time, flammable jet fuel sprayed into the damaged wheel well. It wouldn't be long before the volatile mixture ignited. The situation in the cockpit was becoming desperate. Warning lights flashed ominously as the hydraulic systems, responsible for controlling the aircraft's flaps, landing gear, and steering, began to fail. The pilots, Captain William Allen and First Officer Kent Davidge, fought valiantly to maintain control of the crippled aircraft. With each passing second, the DC-10 became increasingly difficult to handle. The smell of smoke, now thick and acrid, filled the cockpit and began to seep into the passenger cabin. Panic spread among the passengers as the gravity of the situation dawned on them. They were trapped aboard a dying aircraft, thousands of feet above the ground. Despite the crew's desperate efforts, the fire in the wheel well intensified, fueled by leaking jet fuel. The flames spread rapidly, engulfing the aircraft's underbelly. The intense heat began to melt critical structural components, pushing the DC-10 closer to the point of no return. The pilots, their voices strained with exertion and adrenaline, continued to struggle for control. They managed to turn the aircraft back towards Jeddah, hoping to attempt an emergency landing. But it was too late. The fire had grown too intense, the damage too extensive. The DC-10, now a blazing inferno, stalled and plummeted towards the earth. The impact, just a few miles from the runway, was... The Jeddah crash served as a stark reminder of the critical importance of aviation safety. Even the smallest oversight, the most routine maintenance task, can have devastating consequences. In the aftermath of the disaster, the aviation industry undertook a comprehensive review of safety procedures. New guidelines were implemented, emphasizing the importance of tire pressure monitoring and maintenance. Improved fire suppression systems were introduced in aircraft wheel wells. Perhaps most importantly, the tragedy of Flight 2120 fostered a renewed culture of safety within the aviation industry, reminding everyone from ground crew to pilots that vigilance is not an option, but an absolute necessity. The 261 lives lost that day served as a tragic but powerful catalyst for change, making the skies safer for all.